And we are live. Hello, everybody. Ndimadekwanavudi Sanwanani. Welcome to Courageous Conversations, brought to you by the Beauty at Home with You sessions. And of course, that is proudly brought to you by the Unilever Personal and Beauty Care team, particularly my family at Dove. Happy Wellness Wednesday! How are you, my beautiful, 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 beautiful family? I think that's what we are. We are a family that has been together in over what? It's been 200 and something days of lockdown. But more importantly, the Courageous Conversations family that's been together every single Wednesday for the past few weeks as we checked in on ourselves. We checked in on the state of our minds. We spoke to phenomenal South Africans who taught us about wellness and mental health from different aspects. We started off week one with Olympian and gold medalist Caster Semenya. We were talking about mental health and mental fitness and how you get that balance right. We then also had a conversation with the beautiful Dr. Kanyile, speaking about the importance of mental health and how we break the stigma of us being able to have these courageous conversations honestly and openly when it comes to mental health. Last week, we caught up with the amazing couple that is Sia and Rachel Kolisi, who were helping us understand how you can find the balance with your partner and checking in on yourself alongside your partner. And this evening, we are going to be wrapping up, I would call it season one of our Courageous Conversations with the phenomenal Rolene Strauss, a former Miss South Africa, Miss World herself, and a wellness coach, a professional wellness coach. Whew, English got me tied up this evening. As we talk about just understanding how we can balance criticism, those not so nice things that people say to us sometimes. As a person who has lived her life in the spotlight, she understands exactly how it is that we can deal with criticism so that we can, introspect and use those things to help us grow. But it is all centered around one theme, and that is beauty at home with you. This has been so important for all of us over the past few months because we've had to learn and adapt to a new way of life. And I think my hope that post this pandemic and as we move through the different levels, because honestly, I think at some point we're going to be going back to a lockdown of some sort, but it's for us to not lose all the beautiful things that we've learned about ourselves, about practicing beauty at home, about understanding that beauty is so much more than skin deep. It's really the state of your mind, the state of your soul, the state of your heart. And I hope that we don't forget those things post, the pandemic. So yeah, let's check in on ourselves on this Wellness Wednesday, and let's wrap up Courageous Conversations Season 1 on a very, very high note. Let me not forget to congratulate Tuso Masikwa, who won herself a 1,000 Rand cash voucher courtesy of Dove so that she can go and just spoil herself and take care of herself. Tonight will be yet another chance for you to win that 1,000 Rand voucher. So stay tuned and I will let you know at the end of the IG Live exactly how you can get your hands on one. Before I add Rolene to our Insta Live tonight, how are you doing this Wellness Wednesday? On a scale of, we're just going to use emojis, no words. I just want to see, the smiley faces. It doesn't have to be a smiley one, but I want to see you post your emojis over here in the comments and let me know how are you doing this Wellness Wednesday. So it can either be, you see, Sia Mkuana's like, she is, are you laughing, Sia? Okay. So either the day brought you a lot of joy or it was such a joke. It was so bad. It was such a joke that you are laughing it away. Either way, it doesn't matter. Ashley has got a big smile with teeth, like grinning. Yes, Miguel. My mama knows best. Hi. She's just got a happy face, which means that, it was a good day. It was a good day. Yo, Claire, Sue, it's just like, it's whatever. It happens, Claire. Not every day is the same, right? Ashley's also got a mixed emoji thing going on. Kulupera, let me see. Yo, you've got no expression. And that's okay. That also happens, right? Thank you so much for checking in on me and letting me know how you are doing. Sinelizwi has got a sad face. I'm sorry, Sine. But here's the thing about having bad days, right? The only way you can go is back up. And we're allowed to have bad days. And I think tonight will be a treat for you. If you're feeling particularly low, I think tonight's courageous conversation is definitely going to be the pick me up that we all need and we all deserve. All right. Have I gotten all our housekeeping out the way? Yes, I have. I'm ready to add our guest for this evening as we talk about dealing with judgment and dealing with criticism. How do we get this right? No better person to answer this question for Rolene Strauss. I think it is adding her. Yes, it is indeed. Now, we're going to be crowning a brand new Miss South Africa whilst Rolene comes. Hi,
How are you doing, Hulisani?
Rolene! I'm fantastic. Thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Today was also a long day for me, so my emoji would also have been that one, the kind of I'm not sure what I'm feeling one, but I'm
It's
sure it will be changing into a smiley face very soon.
I really, really hope so. It's like you're neither here nor there. You're present, and I think those days are allowed. Those days are okay.
They
Rolene,
are.
we're going to be crowning a brand new Miss South Africa this Saturday, and I think it is so apt for us to be having this conversation just around beauty at home, around criticism and judgment leading up to that. Because if there's anybody who has experienced this and lived judgment and criticism in the public eye, it is you. And you've now, transformed and left the spotlight behind, let's say, and moved into, being a phenomenal businesswoman as well as a professional wellness coach you are driven on the purpose of helping women with their self-confidence to grow. And I just think that's a beautiful thing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really feel like I'm in such a privileged position to be able to have gone through difficult times that very few people understand, but especially during my year as Miss South Africa and Miss World, still struggling a lot with self-confidence, critique, and criticism from all over the place. And now I'm able to really identify with people and especially women going through the same. So I'm so
Yeah.
extremely grateful.
So here's what I like to do on our courageous conversations, Rolene. I like to turn off the comments because I just feel like we should have a time if we're checking in on our wellness and checking in on ourselves. You're in conversation, but you're reading everybody's comments and whatnot, and it kind of like loses everybody's, thought track. So to everybody watching, I'm going to turn off the comments, and then just before Rolene and I are done, I'm going to switch them back on, and that's when you can send through your questions for our conversation this evening. So I'm turning them off temporarily, but the question box is still open, so you can still, send through your questions. First things first, Rolene, when we talk about beauty at home with you, which is something that, like I said in the beginning, we've all had to kind of like redefine for ourselves and figure out. How have you defined that term beauty at home with you in the past few weeks and months?
Hulisani, I loved what you said about beauty being more than skin deep. And that is exactly how I saw these last few months, especially being in a space where we are not forced to put on a lot of makeup. We're not forced to go out and dress up. I really focused my time and the so-called beauty at home routine on personal growth and on things that are deeper than what the eye can see. So I focused on establishing sustainable habits in a time where it's okay to just retreat, and especially being in the public eye very often, it was lovely
Yes.
to just be in my safe space after giving birth, working on myself. So that is what I did, especially focusing on my health, on my fitness, on quality family time. I've learned how to meditate. So many different
Hey.
things that I've done, and it's been amazing, had such a big influence on me.
Yeah. What would you say some of the things that you've learned about yourself are, or that you've rediscovered that were long forgotten? Because sometimes we forget that, yeah, man, I'm that girl, man. I'm that girl.
I think the biggest thing was realizing that very often I overestimate what I can do in a day. I don't know if you feel the same. I think a lot of us feel the same.
Yeah.
We overestimate what we can do in a day, but then after month, 2 or 3 months of being in lockdown and going through this challenging time, I actually underestimated what I can do in a week or in a month or in 200 days. So I think that just gave me so much hope, knowing that if you focus on one thing a day, you will
Yeah.
actually move forward. And that's the one thing that stood out for me.
And it all adds up, right? Because I think when you're working towards a goal, you think to yourself, oh my goodness, how am I going to get this done? But you need to start to start. It starts with the first step. And then you'll
Exactly.
figure it out. Even if you don't know how to meditate, you're just like, okay, let me start with 5 minutes. Don't necessarily go for the 50-minute meditation because you might not do so great.
I know, and the thing is, my sister-in-law always says it so beautifully that optimal wellness is not created by one big thing. It's created by a lot of little things. So focusing on one thing that is sustainable, that is achievable, actually leads to greater things, and it's like a snowball.
I love that. Optimal wellness. Ooh, I've never heard that term before. It's a series of little things. I love it. So you've moved into a new role. I want to get it right. You're a professional transformative self-confidence coach, which is something we'll talk about now in terms of what it is exactly that you do. My understanding of it is really is your life's purpose is to help other women to tap into their higher self and to help them rediscover that self-confidence that may have been chipped away by so many things. It can be chipped away by becoming a mom, by getting married, by a career change, a devastating loss. There's so many things that eat away at us. I wanted to find out from you, take me back to a time where your self-confidence was at its lowest and what was happening.
Wow, you described it so beautifully. I think going right back to the day I realized that I'm being measured by society, and not really measured, but I'm allowing myself to be measured by society's version of the perfect woman. So I grew up in a very small town in a very protected environment where my parents had my brother and I believe that we can do anything we wanted to do. And I had the opportunity to do some modeling, and I was scouted. I got a modeling contract, and I was almost on my way to Paris in France for some modeling. And before I could go, I had to have certain measurements, so especially a certain hip circumference. And I
Wow.
was almost on my way. I remember we were in a hotel room with my mom was there with me, and there was an elderly lady, one of the modeling agents, who had to take my hip circumference. And she stood in front of me and she took the measuring tape and she measured my hip circumference, and she said, 95 centimeters. We'll have to get it down to at least 90 centimeters, little lady. And it was a summer's afternoon. I was about 15 years old. And from that moment, I changed. From that instance, I started measuring myself and allowing society to measure me. And it was almost like this measuring tape tightened and tightened and tightened through primary school, struggling with mathematics initially, through high school, being measured against the perfect student who might get accepted to study medicine or not, being the perfect medical student. When I became Miss South Africa and Miss World, you might think that, wow, when you're Miss South Africa and Miss World, obviously then you rediscover your self-confidence. But when that blue crown was put on my head, I felt thousands of eyes on me watching
I'm
my
now
every move.
watching.
And that measuring tape just kept on tightening. And I still remember the day I realized that I would have to do something about it. And I was still studying for an Ops and Gynae exam. And our son was born. I was still studying. And I was just weeping and thinking there has to be more to being woman than constantly trying to be perfect. And that is also how I embarked on the self-discovery journey of becoming a professional transformative self-confidence coach as well.
Wow, you talk about the tape, the measuring tape tightening. And I think about myself. I think about other women. I think about everybody watching today and how that tape tightens in so many different ways. Like you said, it's the work colleague who perhaps doesn't think you're as good as the other one that used to work here before, and they start throwing around comments like that. Or at home where you're not as praised as much as your sister is. It's little things that all build up and start, kind of like tightening up this tape around us. What would you say in in your expertise, I mean, because you're an expert on it now, around where criticism stems from. Why are people so hell bent on pointing out things that are wrong about you?
So, criticism is such a loaded topic and such a complex topic, but I like to think of criticism in three different categories. So, three types of criticism. The first one is constructive criticism. So, the type of criticism that you receive and that you see as positive, something that enables you to grow, something that enables you to reach your full potential. Then there's the second type of criticism, which is destructive criticism. So the type of criticism that steals your self-confidence, that chips away at your own belief in yourself, your own belief in your abilities, that that basically is out to hurt you, to hurt you emotionally. And the third type of criticism is almost the most dangerous, and that is self-criticism. The things and the stuff that we say about ourselves, that we believe about ourselves, and that we start believing about ourselves. And when it comes to criticism, I've learned and I've seen through difficult difficult times, especially as Miss South Africa and Miss World. But you know, the way we say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I believe that the type of criticism is in the eye of the beholder.
Aha.
If we realize that we have the power to decide what type of criticism this is, we have the power to take it or not take it. It changes everything. So let's say after this video, there is someone commenting below saying, guys, I really like the video, but I think you could have done so much better at, speaking more clearer. I couldn't understand what you're saying. So one person might think, oh my goodness, this person hate what I
They
said.
hated it.
Oh, they hated it. And, even though there were 100 positive comments, you always think about this person wanting to hurt your feelings. And, you see that as destructive criticism. Someone else might think, wow, this person really loved the talk, but perhaps
We could have done
do a
better.
better job at wording my emotions. Perhaps I could have prepared a bit better. So you have the power to decide how you're going to use this criticism. And people who critique very often is also usually full of self-critique for themselves. So it's so sad to
Exactly.
think about that. But I think the main thing that I want to bring across is that you are the powerhouse when it comes to criticism, and you can decide what you're going to use or what you're going to disregard.
In your reign as Miss SA, and Miss World, what were some of the judgments that you had to work yourself through? Because let's be honest, it's not like people say things to you and you're just like, I'm Rolene, I've got this together. There are those days where you go home and cry yourself to sleep, or need to call a friend.
Yes, I think the first thing that comes to mind was actually the first time I entered Miss South Africa, which was in 2011. And I was a 19-year-old girl who couldn't really speak English. And I was in the top 5, standing on stage, being asked a final question. And I still remember it was Proverb who was the host at that stage. And the judge asked me the question, and I just couldn't think of the English words to say. So it was like, guy, I believe, can you please ask the question again? And I promise you, Hulisani, the whole crowd went boo, literally. And that was such a horrible feeling, because I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm horrible. I can't even speak English. And I had to recover from that. And I had to change my mindset, knowing that, yes, I have to improve my English. And that is something that I really focused on in my journey towards preparing for Miss South Africa the second time. And I think that I did quite a good job at improving on my English.
I
So
mean, girl, you are crowned a whole Miss South Africa. I think we can say you did an excellent job.
oh, thank you.
That's such an important lesson, though, Rolene, and that's exactly what you're talking about these 3 types of criticism. There's the constructive, destructive, and the self-criticism, and how you use something, when they say people throw rocks at you, you use that and you're like, it's okay. Instead of allowing this to hurt me, I'm going to put this here and I'm going to use it as a stepping stone to make myself better. And look what happened.
It's easier said than done, and a lot of the times the emotion get in the way. Emotions will get in the way, but I think the mindset changes everything.
Yeah. With Miss South Africa being crowned or going to be crowned this Saturday, there are 12 girls sitting somewhere who are nervous, who are, look, they don't even know what it is that they're about to sign up for.
Their,
And someone's life,
their emojis might look like,
or they've got, that emoji with the crying eyes.
yeah.
So come Saturday, what would you say some of your words of sisterhood and wisdom are to them to just prepare themselves for what is about to come? Because let's be honest, there will only be one that is the winner. There are going to be another 11. I think there are 12, right? It's not 20, it's 11.
At the moment,
I mean,
they're only
12.
10. So we have 10. We have 10.
Oh, 10. Okay. So there's going to be one who's going to be crowned. The other nine are going to walk away from that moment with a lot of self-doubt, with a lot of self-judgment. And then the one is going to be catapulted into, this limelight that you were catapulted into. So I suppose your words of wisdom to both groups.
Yes. So the most important thing for me, and one thing that I've also focused on the second time entering Miss South Africa, is knowing that in life we get various different platforms to live our true purpose, to live our life purpose. Some people play rugby and they live out their life purpose. Some people become teachers. Some people become doctors. Some people have the opportunity to become Miss South Africa. This is a platform for you to live your life purpose. And if you have clarity on your values and your life purpose, whatever happens in between, you will be able to make the right decisions. You will be able to face whatever comes your way in order for you to reach that life purpose. So whether you are a finalist and you don't win Miss South Africa, this was an amazing opportunity for you to grow. Maybe you're going to enter again and then win, because then you'll be ready. Maybe you're going to use the connections you've made, the people that started following you on social media to make a difference. Maybe you win Miss South Africa. Then you have this amazing platform, and then you have to have absolute clarity on your values and your life purpose in order for you to disregard the criticism that is not aligned with your values, that is not taking you closer to your life purpose, and use the opportunities that will take you closer.
I love those words. Absolute clarity. It's that you know that you know that you know, because many things are going to be thrown at you. And in that moment, you need to stand in that absolute clarity to say, they're saying this, but this is what I know.
Definitely. And to be wary of the fact that there are expectations of you, and that other people's expectations should not form you, but you have to have clarity on who you are already for you to be able to navigate that complex world of becoming a Miss South Africa.
Yeah. The crown is heavy, but it's worth it, right?
It is. Definitely.
You've moved over so remarkably into your life as a personal transformative self-confidence coach. Did I get it right? Yes.
You got it right. Well done.
Well, how do you define personal growth, and why do you think it is so important for everybody?
Personal growth to me is the continuous progression towards becoming your best self. And personal growth is such a confusing topic, because to be honest, and to be bluntly honest, currently there are two schools of thought, especially on social media when it comes to women specifically. And the one is, accept yourself for who you are, accept your body for what it is. You are more than good enough. There's no such thing as perfect, okay? The other school of thought is, constantly work towards becoming the best you. Reach your goals, set yourself goals, work towards being strong and independent. And kind of, how do we find the balance?
It's confusing. Yeah, because you're telling me I'm enough, but then you're telling me to work towards something. I get
you. It is extremely confusing. And I came across the most beautiful piece that I actually incorporated in my book, Reflections from the Heart. It's a piece
written beautiful.
by W. Timothy Galway, and I would love to read it to you. It's a little paragraph, but it explains personal growth for me so beautifully. So if there's one thing that I want you to remember, everyone watching tonight, when it comes to personal growth, is this little story about a rose. When we plant a rose seed in the earth, we notice that it is small, but we do not criticize it as rootless or stemless. We treat it as a seed, giving it the water and nourishment required of a seed. When it first shoots up out of the earth, we don't condemn it as immature and underdeveloped, nor do we criticize the buds for not being open when they appear. We stand in wonder at the process taking place and give the plant the care it needs at each stage of its development. The rose is a rose from the time it is a seed to the time it dies. Within it, at all times, it contains its whole potential. It seems to be constantly in the process of change, yet at each stage, at each moment, it is perfectly all right as it is. And I think
Sure.
that just explains it so beautifully, knowing that you already have everything you need within you. You are perfectly all right where you are, but you have
Yeah.
the potential to become the best you. But you know, just treasuring the journey where you are at the moment. And I think that's where you balance the I'm okay, I'm perfect at this stage of my life, but I have the potential to become that beautiful, glorious rose from being a seed.
I love that. It's not that you're not good enough where you're at. It's that there is more to you. And I don't want to use the word of you can be better. It's
Yes.
a there is more in you that you can
And it's
unlock.
already there. It's already there.
Yes.
It's just waiting to appear.
It's waiting to just come on out.
I know.
Everybody, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have just joined us, this is Courageous Conversations brought to you by Dove and hashtag Beauty at Home with you. My guest this evening is former Miss South Africa and Miss World and businesswoman, as well as personal transformative self-confidence coach, Rolene Strauss. Please feel free to, post your comments and your questions. I have opened them again. So anything that you'd like to ask Rolene around anything, I guess, but particularly around judgment as well as around criticism, you've got an expert here, guys. Somebody who has studied these things and is making it happen for so many women out there. Rolene, what would you say, in the work that you do? What's the one of, maybe not the number one thing, maybe number one, two, and top three things that you see about women when they come to struggling with self-confidence? Like, yes, is the no one is perfect, but what is it? Like, what is it? What is the kink in the personal growth?
So the biggest thing for me, especially when it comes to self-confidence, is that a lot of women feel that self-confidence is selfish and that self-confidence can lead to arrogance. No one wants to be arrogant. No one wants to be seen as arrogance. But I believe that self-confidence is like a superpower you have that kind of it unlocks your ability to reach your full potential, to live your life purpose. And that is the most unselfish thing ever. Because then you're just such a better mom, you're a better wife, you're a better employee, you're a better boss. You're just so much better for yourself, but also for everyone around you. And then we often tend to believe that we don't deserve to focus on our own personal growth because we're
Ourselves.
always nourishing ourselves, or not ourselves, but those around you. We're always
Everybody
thinking about
else.
everybody else. And it's just so important for us to fill our own tanks first before we're able to overflow into those
Yeah.
around us.
I always say, Yanla taught us, everybody must be drinking from the overflow, not from what's inside your cup. So it's not
Exactly.
selfish to fill yourself up.
Definitely.
We've got a question over here, Arlene. Let me just open it quickly. There it is. I Lisa J wants to know, how do you think social media plays its part in surfacing judgments and criticism of women?
Yes. I think social media, with regards to anything, but especially criticism and judgment, can be seen like a scalpel in the hands of a surgeon. It can either save a life or it can steal a life. And you get the type of people on social media that you can identify with, that you can draw inspiration from, that makes you feel like, wow, I am good enough. I am on a journey. I'm good enough where I am. But then on the other hand, you have so many people there pointing out whatever you're doing wrong. So social media, once again, I think it's so important to know that you have the power when it comes to the criticism and the judgment. So
Yes.
do a social media cleanse. Whenever you see someone on social media, or if you scroll through Instagram and you see this person never makes me feel good about myself, just go unfollow that person. It's nothing personal. It's just unfollow the person. Do a social media cleanse and make sure that you are feeding your brain and your emotions with the right stuff.
I completely agree with that. Like the one thing I do, social media fast as well, just taking time off social media because we're just hearing and seeing so many things that make you feel like you're not keeping up with everybody else, you're not moving fast enough. And the other thing of understanding that there's a fine line between inspiration and envy. And you need to make that decision for yourself to be inspired by what you see in other people's lives as opposed to being jealous and envious of it, because that's a problem.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
said it so beautifully.
There's a question that came through. I'm going to read it here. It says it came through from Notemba. She wants to know, transformational work is my interest. I love it. How do you deal with the transition state when you still face the anxiety in spaces where you lacked confidence? So how do you go against the old normal?
Yes. It's so important, especially when we are focusing on personal growth. And one thing that I'm always on the lookout for my clients is, you get, I almost want to call it the current self or the old self, and you're
Mhm.
working towards the new self, or the improved or changing self. And it's so important to always go back and ask yourself, what do I really respect about the old self? What do I want to carry on with me? What am I already doing that I want to keep on doing? And in that way, it's not like you're transitioning and have an out of body experience, not knowing who you are anymore, but you are taking bits and pieces of the old self that you really want to celebrate and want to use with you on this journey. And that way, you're making the transition a bit easier for yourself. And you also realize that there are a few things that I'm really good at. There are a few wins that I want to celebrate now and in the future.
I'm not all bad.
No one is all bad.
I'm not all wrong. I'm not all broken. There are good things about you.
Yeah.
Rolene, you're a mom, and there are a lot of moms watching here simply because I know their handles, the judgment and criticism that one faces when they step into it's unknown. You don't know how you're going to be as a mom. You're getting it right, you're getting it wrong. How did you make the transition for
Oh,
yourself? Because is it different? I'm not a mom yet, so I must ask these things and learn from those that have walked the path.
the thing is, remember we talked about the three types of criticism. And when it comes
Yes.
to parenting and being a mom, the most dangerous one is usually the one surfacing the most, and that is the self criticism and the mommy guilt. I think we all know, and we're all thinking about the mommy guilt. But the thing and the idea that knowing that you were chosen for your child was chosen for you. You already have everything within you. There is no manual. I wish there were. There is no manual, but you have the ability to overcome certain challenges and to deal with it. And I always believe that the mind that holds the problem also holds the solution. So
Mm.
go into a space and trust in yourself that you know what is best for your child and that you're able to figure it out. And they, my children are, they're just so incredible. And I've learned unconditional positive regard and unconditional love from my
Yeah.
children. And if you look at them, you realize I'm not doing a bad job.
You're doing great, Mom. You're doing great. Thank you so much for all your questions that came through. It's going to be almost time for me to let Rolene go. But before I let you go, Rolene, I think let's wrap up with your 5 things of a quick guide to facing criticism. Like, when I'm standing here and I've just heard something, what are those
Yes.
things that I must run through in my mind? How do I take it the right way?
Yeah. So I actually thought of a word, an acronym that might
Okay.
help you, anyone watching, to handle and to deal with criticism. So whenever you're faced with criticism, I want you to think of the word given. So
Okay.
given. Um, See this criticism as a gift, something given to you to grow. So the G is growth and gratitude. This is an opportunity for me to grow. whatever type of criticism it is, I can turn this into an opportunity to grow. And for that, I will be grateful. The I is information. So I recently watched a video of Jay Shetty, and he said that
I love Jay.
oh, I know. He sees criticism as information. Just like there are so many information, surrounding us every day, you decide whether you're going to use this information or whether you're going to just disregard the information. So see criticism as information. That is the I. The V, values and life purpose. Have clarity on your values and your life purpose. In that way, you'll be able to say, these critique or these critic comments are aligned with my values. They might take me closer to my life purpose, or they are not. And in that way, you're choosing whether you're going to keep it or disregard it. The E is emotion. And I know it's easier said than done, but try to not be too emotional when it comes to criticism. And the one thing that I've realized that helped me specifically is having unconditional positive regard towards the person giving the criticism, even though they might not deserve it. But giving them that benefit of the doubt kind of takes away or takes off the edge of the emotion, knowing and thinking that this person might have my best interest at heart. Try to not be too emotional about it. If this is information, I'm going to use it or I'm not going to use it.
It's almost like you disarm them. You disarm them from hurting you. And that's a choice you make.
Them and you take the power to decide for yourself. And the last one is... Yes, the last one is N. So when you've gone through these previous 4 things and you've asked yourself these questions, N, the ability to decide no or nice. No, I'm not going to take this. This is not for me. Or nice. This might actually help me to reach my goal. So that is a quick summary of 5 things that you can use when it comes to criticism.
Girl, you are gifted. That is why you're doing the work that you are doing. I love it. Given. So G is for growth and gratitude. I is for information. V is for values. E is for emotion. We mustn't take it, we must just hold ourselves. Yes. And N is you decide. Is this a no or is it nice?
Yeah.
And you take it on.
You have it. You're a quick learner.
I love it. Rolene, thank you so much for your time this evening. Do you have 30 seconds to do some fun questions? And then I'm going to let you go. Okay, we've had such a deep conversation around judgment and criticism. Now we must just be like, let's get to know you a little bit better with some 4 quick questions. Okay, you just need to tell me one of your options here. Beach or bush?
Oh, beach.
Dress or jeans?
Dress.
I put you as such a jeans girl.
The jeans are always too short. Oh, they're always too short.
Tall girl problems. I don't have those issues. Heels or flats?
Flats, definitely flats. I've worn too many heels for too long. I love my flats at the moment.
You're over it. Spa or hike?
Oh, that's a difficult one. I would say a very good hike followed by a spa experience. Doesn't that sound like heaven?
When she gets to choose both, a good night out or a cooked meal in?
After lockdown, probably a good night out. But usually, spending too much time at events, I usually prefer a good night in.
Oh, I love it. Rolene, thank you so much. You are absolutely phenomenal. You are the definition of what, for me, is, when we say courage is beautiful. You have had the courage to go for your dreams. You've had the courage to defy the odds and what people expected you to be. And you're the epitome of grace.
Oh, thank you.
That's what you are for me.
Thank you. That is so kind of you. I'm taking those words and I'm holding them dear. So thank you very much, Hulisani. And thanks to everyone for joining us. And I really hope that you found it valuable and that you're able to use this just for yourself or for someone you know.
Are you going to be watching Miss South Africa on Saturday?
Absolutely. I'm one of the very few people who's able to actually be there live. The only
Oh, wow, that's so
Yes, so
nice.
I'm so excited. I can't wait. And I'm so proud of all of the 10 finalists.
We wish you all the best, Rolene. Take all of us with you from the live. You must say, I'm not walking alone. I walk with the legion of everybody that I was having a chat with on Wednesday night. Thank you so much, Rolene. Mwah,
Thank you.
mwah, mwah.
Bye, everyone.
Is she not just, there's this calmness, man. There's this serenity that surrounds her and I think follows her everywhere she goes. So many lessons this evening, right? So personal growth is about continuous progression, to keep moving forward. And I loved what she said about how it's not that you're not good enough as you are. You are. You are great. You're fantastic, darling. You're doing great, sweetie. It is that when you work on yourself, it is about tapping into the more that is within you, right? It's not to say that there is better you, there's just more within you. And it's inside of you, it's within all of us. And when it comes to judgment and criticism, let's take away what Rolene said with her acronym, given. You need to decide. The G is, can I use this for my growth and my gratitude? Secondly, this criticism that you're taking is information. That's what the I is. The V is values and life purpose. Does it speak to my values and life purpose? You need to be sure. What did she call it? It was, you need absolute clarity about who it is that you are and who it is that you want to be. The E is emotion. I know when it comes to judgment and criticism, I also am guilty of that, where there's 100 people saying nice things about you and about the work that you do. You're so focused on that one person that criticized you, and that's a choice. You're getting emotional about that, right? Because you're choosing to. So I need to keep my emotions in check. And lastly, the N. No or nice. Am I saying no to this criticism, or am I taking it in and I'm going to use it because it's constructive and it is something that can move me forward? Well, babes, Courageous Conversations is done for, like I said, season 1. So next Wednesday, please don't expect to see me. I will be sure to let you know, though. I promise. I will be sure to let you know when we pick up our Courageous Conversations again. But I really hope that the past 4 weeks have grown something in you. I hope that they have spoken to you in some way or other, and that they are encouraging you to tap into yourself, to check in on your wellness, not just on a Wellness Wednesday. Yes, more so on a Wellness Wednesday. That can almost like be your day to make sure that you're checking in, but every single day in every single way. Let us continue to practice beauty at home because you just don't know, hey, life is so short, life is so unpredictable. And if you want the world to show you love, you need to show it to yourself first. Every day, in every way, whether it is taking that long bath, whether it is lighting that candle, whether it is having a glass of that grown up beverage that you love, whether it is reading a book, whether it is phoning a friend that you haven't spoken to in a long time. Let's make a commitment between you and I that Wellness Wednesdays are going to continue, that beauty at home with you is going to continue way past the conversations that we've been having amongst ourselves. Is that a promise? I want to see you promising, because then I'm going to screenshot it, ne? And if I catch you one day not doing Wellness Wednesday, I'll know, hey, I'm like an oracle. I know these things. So I hope that you are making that promise to yourself. And just because today is the last Courageous Conversation brought to you by Dove does not mean that my family at Dove is not going to give you a chance to be hooked up with the 1,000 Rand cash voucher. Oh no, we still have that going. So I'm going to be posting this live on my page straight after this conversation, straight after I'm done ending the live. And then you just need to go below there and comment with what your most valuable takeout is from today's Courageous Conversation. And Rolene dropped so many gems. So comment when I post this, and then one of you will stand a chance of winning that 1,000 Rand cash voucher to pamper yourself, to love up on yourself, because you are worth it. You are worth it and you deserve it. Okay, that's it for tonight, fam. I'm going to miss you, but I do hope that Courageous Conversations will be back soon. Look after yourself and good night. Ah.